Hello and welcome to the Reaching Your Full Potential Online Tech Summit, where top experts share their secret tips to stand out from the crowd and to be successful using technology. Today, I have Sylvia Ogweng with me, and a little bit bio about her. She is a digital strategist, growth marketer, and social media expert with over 10 years of experience crafting impactful data-informed digital marketing campaigns. Thank you so much for joining today, Sylvia. And why don't you try to tell us a bit more about yourself?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having
Wow,
me.
pleasure.
Um, and yeah, so I'm a digital strategist, growth marketer, and social media expert. Um, and I love working with mostly startups and particular founders who are just getting started or just on their way to scaling and need a lot of help with
Mhm.
their digital marketing. So whether that is content marketing, social media, copywriting, I can really steer people in the right direction and also teach them or show them how to use the data that they can really acquire from these channels to inform other parts of their business.
Oh, it's good. Great. That's a good bio for sure. And obviously, we're in the days of digital, especially now as well, even more so. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about your journey, specifically where you got to today, and how did you get there?
Well, I've always really had a passion for marketing, and especially for social media startups. So when YouTube,
Mhm.
Vimeo, Twitter, when these got started, I was really active in learning about how they got started, about the founders, startup culture, and all of that stuff. Um, but really, my start in digital marketing, aside from like creating a few websites here and there when I was really young, started in social media in politics, and I was mostly inspired by Barack Obama's like 2008 presidential
Mhm.
election, which is hard to not be inspired by, but it was mostly driven by social media and how um, you can easily reach a lot of people and just the power in social media and helping people. I just love helping people, tell the story of their brands and connect in an authentic way while building trust and helping them, grow their businesses and connect with what they want to be doing in life. So,
Right.
yeah.
No, that's good, definitely. So you kind of mentioned the power of social media, and especially in today's, we're living in a very, especially right now, we're in very unique times. So how do you adapt and innovate, especially in today's climate, and specifically, kind of how do you use social media in today's environment as well, too?
Well, I just like to, you know, cover my bases, right? I always like to be prepared, over prepared, and I think that helps me get ready or prepare for any unexpected changes. Um, like say COVID, for instance,
Right.
it gives you a chance to pivot very quickly, and maybe change some product offerings. And also another aspect of that, or another way to answer your question is just being really connected with what you want to do, your brand values, your goals in life and in business.
Mhm.
I always, when I start working with clients, I always get them to, make sure that they are dialed in with these short-term, medium-term, long-term goals, and make sure that everything we do is really connected to one of these things, and we're not wasting our time or wasting money on something that is not really going to help you reach an end goal.
Right. No, and that kind of leads me to one of the questions that I have, like, is you talk about the not wasting time. So you obviously in social media there's so many platforms. We have LinkedIn, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, Instagram, and new ones keep popping up. How do you recommend your clients, especially, or how do you recommend anybody who's kind of listening today to what do they jump on? Like, what do they start with?
Well, there are a lot of factors that go into choosing social media accounts. First of all, are they already active on some accounts. But if they aren't, then I would really take a look at who their target customer is, where their target customer hangs out online. Also take into account how much budget do you have? What are your resources? Do you have a team? Are you by yourself? Because creating content is quite an intense process. Like it can really take up a whole day. And I think people underestimate, how much time and effort it really does take to create quality content. So I usually just evaluate, it depends on also what type of brand or what type of company you are, or if you're a person, like what social network is best for your brand. Say like if you're in fashion, then obviously, an easy fit would be a visual platform. So
Right.
Instagram or Pinterest. Facebook is the largest network, so it's kind of a no-brainer to be on there, but there are pluses and minuses to each account, each channel, and it's really a custom choice that I go through with them, and there are many factors involved. So it's I can't give you a straight answer.
No, it's true. It makes sense. I guess that's always a challenge for businesses or entrepreneurs who start off, like, where to start, and you kind of explode yourself into like all these different areas, and to sort of maintain that sometimes becomes a struggle. So that leads me to my next question in terms of content, right? You talked about content a little bit, and how important is content in all of this, and does the content vary in this different platforms?
Well, I really look at content as a way to build trust with your customer. I mean, you can, social media is a long-term game. It's not really, clients come to me and they say, I'm really honest with them as to how results are going to happen, depending on how big their audiences are. So it should really be a long-term commitment for them. But yeah, I mean, it's just building trust, entertaining. I mean, number one rule, you don't want to be boring on social media. And depending on what you do, inspiring, just giving people a reason to come back, to connect with you. And then when it's finally time for customers to come and buy from you, then, you're like their friend, or you trust them, and it's an easy decision. And also it contributes to word of mouth, which is just so valuable these days.
It's true, 100%. You're right. I know, definitely. I know it's always difficult for content, especially for, and content is always evolving, right, and changing consistently. So, you kind of mentioned where you got through where you are today, and, you work with a lot of different clients, looking at what you have done so far, and what also the clients you worked with, what are some of the mistakes that, you wish you could have avoided, even like those people that you worked with, you're looking back, could have, you learn from the mistakes. How do you, what are some of those things that you can kind of share with us with?
Yeah, definitely. It's all about learning from mistakes. What I focus on more than I did before is, communicating with my client, building a relationship, always having that communication open, and expectations clear, and making sure that we're on the same page. So while, there might be a lot of work before you see some content and, what you want, the numbers that you want to be seeing, I think in the long run, you have to really be clear with, the relationship, the client and the client relationship, because I mean, I always want everyone wants a positive result, right? You want to make everyone happy, and you want to support the people that you're working for. Right. I mean, that I do, but so yeah, I think a big part of that is just communicating and getting straight on your goals together.
Right. No, that's true. And you talk about goals there, and just right now where you ended off. If you look at kind of like your goals, and like, when somebody who has an idea, how do you know when you have the right idea, and kind of where do you kind of take that to, as to, put it as part of your goal? So I guess there's two different questions, but really, how do you know when you have the right idea?
Well, I'll just apply this to my own. I'll just tell you my own story because
Sure. Yeah.
I'm getting into being a founder myself with e-commerce brands and Instagram sports community, and really just it's kind of like a trifecta of things. So, do you have a gut feeling, a really, really strong, extremely strong gut feeling? Does it move you forward? Because if being a founder is really difficult, and running your own business is, you're gonna walk through a lot of hurdles and difficult moments. So really just having that strong gut feeling. Also, talking about your idea with people really helps, right? So, and all different kinds of people. Don't just go to your friend group and, of course they're going to support you. So talk about your idea with different types of people and see what they say. And also, don't be deterred by strong negative gut reactions, because sometimes that is really an indicator of like, yeah, because it's going to be polarizing to some people. And then lastly, the data, really, because I'm really data driven. So if you can find a way to test out an idea, or hopefully you already have an audience built out, like, if you want, starting now and promoting yourself is a great way to test out some ideas and get a lot of feedback. So those are the three things that I would say.
Nice. No, that's helpful for sure. And you kind of touched a little bit like on, on this, maybe not exactly, but how do you handle, or how did you handle adversity and doubt, especially where you are today and where you're kind of where you want to go to? Like, how do you handle that?
Well, it is difficult, and it can really get you down, and some people just stop. And I have had some ventures where I'm just like, should I keep on going? But I think a part of going back to the last question, having that really strong gut feeling and knowing, not sort of kind of like a blind ambition, but not, you have to be not totally blind, but yeah. So that gut feeling and knowing why you're doing it. So if you're really connected to your why, then you can really get through these things and get through no's from people and hard days, and just keep on, keep the momentum going.
Right. No, that's good for sure. Yeah. Obviously doubts, and it was, especially when it comes to doubts, it's always difficult sometimes to manage. But yeah, you pretty much hit it on dead on there.
And doubts are connected. Don't be afraid to dig deeper into doubts, because they will reveal a little bit more about yourself. And if you really crack open the root of doubt, then you'll be able to move forward a lot faster.
That's true, 100% for sure. Being an entrepreneur yourself, and obviously looking at working with others, how can you answer? How can one be a good leader?
I would say number one is just listening, listening and communicating. Like before, communication is, especially in this world of what is now going to be a remote world for the next few months,
Right.
Communicating, getting your baseline foundation really set and presenting it to anybody that you're working with, making sure that you really click. I have had business partnerships that have failed, where if you're not moving fast enough, if you're feeling like you're not moving forward, then it probably shouldn't work out. Like when you find the right people, things will move forward faster, and you'll start building a lot faster and seeing results.
Right. So I'm kind of curious to ask this question, because obviously you've been in yourself in social media and a digital strategist. If you look at LinkedIn, Facebook, and they have obviously their own business pages and so forth, right? how important is it for businesses to be on there? Is it something that's more on a personal profile that they would be good with, or is it something that they should be focusing more on their business aspect of it? Like, I guess what I'm really asking is like personal brand versus business brand. Really, where does that come in, or both should be done?
That is a difficult question
Yeah.
to answer. It
Right.
really depends on a lot of factors where you want to be long term. I will say that I've listened to Neil Patel, obviously like one of
Mhm.
the greatest digital
Right.
marketers ever, and he regrets actually using his name. He wishes he had built a brand around some, you know, like a not his personal brand.
Right.
Um, but I would say if it helps you move forward faster, you know, some people might have fears around like putting yourself out there, then,
Right.
you know, you can still be the face of a brand and
Hmm.
not name it. Like there are ways to make, I would definitely emphasize the personal aspect of social media. And so
Right.
you can definitely get involved as a founder prominently on your social media and still make it personal.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I would say that that's more an individual choice.
Right.
But I would definitely focus, if you don't have an idea yet, then and a name, definitely just focus on building your own personal brand. I
Right.
think there's so much value in that these days, and just getting started. I know I hear that a lot. And at the beginning, I was like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to wrap your brain around it when you're facing fears, but just getting started. One tweet here, one
Mhm.
social media post there. You know, it's like it doesn't have to be such a big step. And also networking, like just
Mhm.
communicating, building your network, and adding more people to it. You never know. People are always willing to help each other,
Right.
and the actually some of the best clients I've ever had is from through referrals. So
Right. Yeah, I know it's always difficult, always when businesses start, like, where to start. And, that's why to know whether you do personal or business, right? Where do you kind of focus on? But you're 100% right. Obviously, it all depends, it depends on your own business, what you want to do. And the point of Neil Patel, yeah, I know I follow him as well too, but it's true. He's made some valid points there for sure. We're almost near the end. If you have given us a lot of tips, but if there's one tip that you can give us today, if you implement to have success, what would that be?
I would say it's more of an abstract kind of idea, but like I said before, like dial down on what you're afraid of, because what you're afraid of, and I know some people are fearless, so this doesn't really apply to them, but if you're one of those people who have doubts and fears, and I had a lot of them when I started, even me being a social media expert, I had fears, you know, putting myself
Mhm.
out there. Um, you know, those fears are really getting in the way of you moving forward and reaching out to people, and ways that it's just getting in the way of ways where, you know, your business could grow. So I would say dial down on like your fear of success, maybe your fear of failure, like
Mhm.
whatever is driving that, just get it out of the way, and just know, not even get it out of the way because it takes a while, but know that it is there, and then when you have doubts, just shut them down and keep
Mhm.
moving forward.
Right. No, that's good. That's a good tip for sure. So, really appreciate you taking the time today. But before we finish, is there anything you want to add to the before we wrap up?
um I just want to say, you know, building a personal brand, it really starts with, just like I said, one thing, and
Mhm.
there's no better time than the present because a lot of people are at home right now. And you know, people are going to connect. There's so many people in this world, someone's going to connect with you. So if you can get supporters, then that's even more of drive forward for you and what you want to get done.
That's great. No, thank you. You mentioned you had an offer as well that you wanted to
Oh
tell
yeah.
us. Yeah,
So
yeah.
So I'm giving away 2 1-hour digital marketing consultations or audits for your audience. So there's a form. I think there's a link below the video, and they can just sign up, and then we'll pick 2 people at random.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, we'll put the link, and then definitely have that available for everybody. Thank you again so much. I really appreciate it. It was a great conversation. Branding, digital, social media is obviously very important, especially in today's time. But thank you again, and wish you best of luck as well.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.